Hey guys, wanted to jump on and let you guys know that today's episode, Andrew and I are going to be talking about our 2024 bucks and our hunting season. We tell a bunch of great stories. You're really not going to want to miss it. So we hope you'll tune in and watch the whole thing through and give us a like, a comment, and a subscription. We appreciate you guys and we really want to share this episode with you. So watch the whole thing. Thank you. Barbecuing made it worse.
So if you hit the power button, I'm gonna have to edit all of this. Maybe I won't.
Sorry. Welcome back to the Outdoor Lore Podcast. This is Outdoor Lore. Come outside with us as Andrew, Luke, and our family and friends go outside and create memories, stories, and traditions that will be passed down for generations. Welcome to Outdoor Lore.
Welcome to Outdoor Lore.
Outdoor Lore.
Wait, time out. Before we get going, I just need to say I screwed up a little bit on this one. I wore my mic in a weird spot, and as much as I make fun of Luke for not wearing his mic, not turning his mic on, wearing it in a weird spot, this time it was totally on me, so I have to apologize for that. I used our sort of B-string audio for where my voice was all scratchy, so you didn't have to listen to it right off of my vocal cords. Besides that, I hope you enjoy the episode. It gets better at the end. Thanks for watching.
It was off. I turned it off.
I told you, it takes a second for it to kick off. Welcome back to the Outdoor Lore Podcast. Luke just screwed up our first intro, so we're back at it again. And then he just coughed right into the beginning of this intro.
Maybe you should just do a podcast with Hachi.
Maybe I should, just a solo pod.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
So today we're just going to talk about the end of hunting season. Well, talk about our hunting season.
Yeah.
But today is the end of hunting season.
Technically, but there's some late season bow, right?
Oh yeah, we're going to do more hunting. But it's the end of our opportunity to hunt bucks.
Yes, it absolutely is. You said you were already seeing half racks running around?
I saw a half rack December 8th, I
That's
think.
early.
It's pretty early.
That's pretty early.
Yeah, it was pretty early. I don't know, maybe he got hit by a car or something, but he only had one side.
Tough fella.
Yeah.
Tough fella. I've seen some stuff online of
Antlers dropping.
It happens every year.
Yeah,
You'll
pretty
have
quick.
a couple of them at least.
Yeah, real early.
We had some big ones drop 2 years ago, real early.
Yeah.
I don't know what makes them drop early.
I don't know.
Put it in the comments
Yeah,
if you know.
if you know what
makes deer drop their antlers early. Tell us. I saw a good buck that I probably should have shot. I haven't posted that video yet. I'm going to make a video of it. It was a pretty 8-point. It was bigger than this one that I shot.
Yeah.
And I turned it down. And I kind of had to just get the first buck out of the way.
Well,
And now it's just like, if you're going to shoot a buck, make sure it's a nice mature buck, is my thought process.
Well, let's I guess back up. Like, tell me a little bit about your hunting season.
Do you want to start with just the buck, or where do you want to even start?
Well,
Okay, I'll just start.
maybe we should recap our goals. Do you remember our goals from our?
I do remember one of the goals was not to fall out of the tree stand.
Check
Check.
for you.
That was
I sort of fell.
You sort of fell. I almost fell after I shot my buck. I think I had 8-point or better as one of my goals, and I also wanted to shoot a doe or otherwise with one of Dad's satellite broadheads.
Didn't do that.
I
I had them, but I never pulled the trigger on them. So 2 out of 3, not bad. What were yours?
I think I wanted to shoot a mature buck.
Check.
I wanted to kill a buck at each one of our or a deer at each one of our properties.
That was super ambitious.
Yeah,
Because
it's possible.
It's definitely possible.
I get like focused in on one spot too much, maybe.
and yeah,
for a good reason.
We're
like-
very blessed. We got a few different properties that we can hunt on, so it would have been a lofty goal. That's
Yeah,
I don't know how many properties it is, but that would have been a lofty goal
Yeah.
to meet.
but I wanted to kill one on each
Yeah,
spot.
absolutely.
So yeah, some successes,
Some
some
successes.
failures. No giant failures.
No giant failures.
Well, I had a giant failure that you'll find out about over the next summer.
yeah.
Had a big failure.
But it was
Hachi
a
helped
lesson
with.
learned, and Hachi got to partake in some outdoor lore himself. So
Yep.
that could just be a teaser. That would be a
Midsummer episode of
Yeah.
some of our failures over the hunting season.
But
I spooked so many deer this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm a bad hunter or it's because of the property that I was hunting the majority.
you're not a bad hunter. I think
Because, like, probably the first 8 times I hunted, I was in
an hour before sunup, and I could not get into my tree.
without having a doe or multiple does blow and run off away from me.
Yeah. I think, one, we talked about that on our preseason podcast. You have so much of a learning curve
Yes.
because you're doing so many different things for the first time.
Yes.
I think one thing that I really realized is I got to upgrade my sticks.
They're pretty slow.
Yeah, I'm hunting with like the cheapest sticks you can buy.
We both are. I've
Yeah.
got the same ones as you.
And they're fine. They're durable. They're pretty sturdy.
Yeah.
They are heavy.
They're heavy. They're loud.
Cumbersome to move and to set up. There's got to be a better option. So I'm going to just have to
Yeah.
bite the bullet and find a better option for that.
Let me know what you buy and I'll just buy the same thing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so that was like a mid-season goal, was to figure out how to stop bumping deer. And I think that started to happen.
What did you do different?
I was just trying to be quieter. I don't
Okay.
know. I just tried to be quieter. I definitely kept. So I think the biggest thing that changed was, obviously when you're walking in, there's nothing you can do. You accidentally bump a deer in the middle of the night. You don't see it, and it runs off. What changed was I stopped getting caught going up the tree because I think it just got faster.
Okay.
So I got way more efficient of getting myself up the tree, getting all my stuff up the tree, and getting set up.
Okay.
The first few times it was,
You're getting caught on the way up.
I was getting caught on the way up or while I was setting my camera and
I
everything.
remember the day we hunted together in town, we got caught. I think I was like one stick up and you were on the ground still.
Yes.
So
Well, that's a,
So I was thinking about that the other day. I almost wonder if the buck that I got a little bit cheating.
because those deer had never been hunted and were completely oblivious and everywhere.
Well,
It's almost
not
like,
cheating.
it
No,
felt,
that's just good opportunity.
It would. I'm very blessed for the good opportunity,
But
but
it's deer in their natural state.
it is deer in their natural state. But it's like I had 50 acres in town.
surrounded by town, and I was the only one in there
Right.
besides the outdoor people.
Right.
So
Well,
I don't know. It
It
just
helps,
felt,
but it doesn't.
it felt like they were less skittish than more skittish because they're so ingrained into public.
Sure.
Like, I'm sure they're seeing people every day, all the time, and have so many scents from Walmart and Taco Bell, like, floating through there, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, but
It
I
felt
mean,
like,
I felt a little bit better when after that, I saw a buck like almost every time that I was out.
after that,
Yeah.
just none that I would shoot.
well, so,
So-
I guess let's kind of jump into your deer then. Like, let's tell the story of
Yeah.
deer.
So my deer, told this already, but it was in a little 50-ish.
50, 75-ish acres.
34.
Okay, even smaller than I thought. 34-acre plot of land in town, right next to a Walmart, backed up to a pretty major highway. So you can hear car sounds driving the whole time throughout the video.
And one thing is town ordinances. We had to really review them.
Yes.
Make sure that we were within town ordinances.
Yep.
We had to be 100 yards from a road or a residence.
Yep. So I was pretty much
There's
dead center in the middle of the property, and I had like 110 yards one direction and 110 or 115 the other direction.
I drew the map on
Yep.
Onyx. I think it was 104 yards to the road
Yep.
from the tree. So we had like a really thin band
Yep.
where we could hunt that property.
And the deer was in that 104 yards too because it was
yeah.
straight down.
Right.
So that morning,
Well,
I got in.
interestingly, the code doesn't say your arrow has to land.
Oh, interesting. You just have to be.
You have to where you shoot. You have to be 100 yards from.
Okay.
So you could shoot at a deer
40 yards that way.
hypothetically
Right.
80 yards towards the road.
Not me.
Somebody could
Yes.
and be totally legal,
Huh. That's
but
good
you
to know.
have to be 100 yards away.
That's good to know.
That's my reading of it, at
Yeah.
least.
So, but that morning, I got in. I got in a little later than I wanted to. I was sick in the morning. I was
November
like,
9th.
I had like a weird head cold stomach thing combination that I was not feeling good. So I got in a little later than I wanted to, like 15 minutes before sunrise or something like that. So by the time I was up and settled in the tree, it was maybe 30 minutes past sunrise already. And 10 minutes after that, I had,
like 5 does sprint right by me, right first thing in the morning.
and then I was like, okay, we got action here. And then right after that, 2 or 3 bucks came running, following them. And I rattled at them and I grunted at them. They definitely heard me, but they never came my way. They sort of
Looped back and around downwind of me, and then I saw them cut off towards the toes again.
And then several more times that same day, there was just a lot of buck movement around. I had a buck, I think it was the same buck.
Just absolutely raking a tree right in front of me. I didn't catch that on camera because it was like,
I saw him raking, and then I got the camera going, and he walked past. Grunted at him, did a horrible snort wheeze at him, and he just kept on cruising.
Right.
A few hours later, I heard him like 75 yards to my left, just crunching, head down, walking through the woods. And this time I was a little more ready because I could hear him coming from further away. I hit him with a grunt, and I could hear that he stopped.
Okay.
So he stopped. I couldn't see him anymore. And I gave him like 5 minutes.
But you knew it was a buck.
I knew it was a buck.
Yeah.
I saw him clearly when he walked by. Knew it was a buck. Gave him like
4 or 5 minutes, hit him with another like 1 or 2 soft grunts, and then within seconds, he grunts back at me.
and then I hear him charging at me.
That's awesome.
Just head up, just strutting through the woods. He gets to the wood line at probably
50 yards, no shot. I'm range finding where I think he's going to come out. He's staring my direction. Can't tell where he is. His wind is horrible for him, perfect for me. So the wind's right in my face, and he's
got the wind right in his tail, and he doesn't care. He's coming right at me.
Rut does crazy
He-
things to him.
He comes out of the woods. I'm at full draw. He's quartering towards me hard
Right.
at like 25 yards, 20 yards, 15 yards, 10 yards. And he crosses me up. So he's
Under the tree.
right under the tree. As he goes behind the tree, I let down.
And then I have to fully spin in my saddle and platform, and I turn around, and now I'm facing the other direction, and I shot him straight down he was maybe 3 yards from my tree, so it was maybe a 6-yard shot, hypotenuse or whatever. I'm not doing the math on it, but
It'd be less if it's
no, it would be more. It would be the longest angle. It would be the longest part of the triangle.
okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
So really close, quartering away, he like stopped right behind my tree because I think he winded me at that point in
Right,
time.
'cause he crossed
because he
into a good
crossed through underneath my wind, and he just stopped dead, head up, and I put it right behind his like rear or front right shoulder
Yep.
into his left shoulder, double lung heart. He went like 25 yards
Yeah.
and dropped. I was fired up. That's when I almost fell out of the tree.
Yeah,
I was
so-
fired up.
The two things I'd take, or three really. One, we talked about that property, good noise.
And
Right.
yes, I was more aggressive that day with noise
And that's
than,
exactly what
than
we
I
said.
have ever been.
Like on this property, we will be aggressive because we don't think that they've ever experienced that.
He had zero clue. I don't
Yeah.
know how he didn't see me because like I
I
was
will
moving camera. I was at full draw. I dropped my camera. I even like bumped it a little bit with my bow when I
That
was
tree's
turning.
got pretty good cover though, because
It does have good cover, yeah.
multiple stems.
Yeah, it does have good
multiple
cover.
trunks. So first thing, good noise.
Yes.
Second thing I take away is like, good job not trying to stop him when he's quartering to you and taking that shot.
I had the thought of if I stop him here, he's going to see me and he's going to turn
Plus,
around.
you're taking that quartering too. Like that's just a shot
I
that
wasn't going to take it.
we don't like to take.
I wasn't gonna take
I'm
it.
not going to take it unless
Es-
like extenuating
Especially
circumstances,
not
maybe.
with the bow that I'm using. I love it. It was a gift. I'm very grateful for it.
But you're shooting like 54 pounds.
But
or
it does
something.
not have the pop that I need.
Yeah,
Next year's bow will have a little more pop.
yeah.
So
That's a tough shot, no matter what boat you're shooting.
yeah,
Quartering two, right below you.
Yeah, no,
Good luck.
no. But quartering away right below me, still a hard shot, much easier.
That was the third thing I was going to say is, I think 3 yards below you is a lot harder than 25 yards out from you.
Yeah.
And you made a really good shot, making sure to
Yeah.
keep it high on him.
It
Because
went nowhere.
I mean, your entry is like right underneath his backstrap on the right side.
yeah.
So
Yep.
it was a really, really good shot.
Yep.
So
We found the broadhead when we were butchering the deer implanted like right in like the ball socket
Offside
almost
ball joint.
of the
Yeah.
of the front left shoulder.
No, there's no ball joint. So like in the shoulder.
It was in the
blade.
shoulder blade.
Yeah.
It had broken the shoulder blade itself on the other
Yeah.
side. So it almost passed through. It broke
Which,
off, and then the
another
arrow
thing,
pulled
like
out.
your broadheads, you're shooting 125 grain broadhead.
Slick tricks, yeah.
Yeah. With that bow.
I think it's-
Is that bow at 50 pounds?
I think it's at 60.
Okay. At 60 pounds?
We cranked it all the way up. Yeah.
Okay. That's still pretty good performance. Like
Yeah.
you went through an entire buck
Yes.
and
Yeah.
broke the offside shoulder.
I was nervous at first because as it hit, like it happened so fast that when he was running away, I saw most of the arrow out of the deer,
Okay.
but it backed itself out
Okay.
after it went all the way through. So
So
it
it
went
bounced
through,
off that.
broke, and it bounced backwards.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I found the arrow maybe 15 yards from him.
I think whenever you end up putting him on the wall, you got to find some way to incorporate the broken arrow.
100%. I've got it.
That'll be cool.
Cleaned it all out. Yeah. I got to figure out.
I've got the arrow that I killed my first buck with a bow. I've got the arrow with the broadhead
Yeah.
and the even the same like old burnout lit knock.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's kind of cool.
That is cool. I'll definitely figure out something to do with
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So
So that was your only deer this year
my only deer this
so
year.
far.
So far.
We'll
so
talk.
far.
We'll talk about that at the end. But
Yeah. I had
you passed so many deer.
I have, so I was telling you this yesterday, day before. My dad and I hunted on New Year's Day. It was super windy. I think that was the only day the whole year that I didn't see at least one deer out of the tree.
He didn't see one either.
I saw two walking in, and I saw two on the drive in, and I saw one on the drive out, but I didn't see a single deer from the tree.
And you were in like the premium deer
Yeah,
seeing
I was
spot.
in like the prime doe shooting
Yeah.
tree stand.
Yeah, you're in the tree stand that I go to shoot 2 does.
Yes, and you did
And I
last
did.
time we
Yeah.
hunted together.
So
So there was nothing moving. But it was like consistent 15-mile-per-hour winds and then like 30, 40 mile-an-hour gusts.
Jeez.
Where
That
like
tree
that
is-
tree was blowing around.
yeah, that's a rough tree. 'Cause it's so slick.
I didn't climb it as high as you climbed it, so I was a little bit lower.
You didn't go above the fork?
No, I didn't go above the fork.
Because I hang my tree.
I saw where your platform
Yeah.
was. Your platform was like at my chest height.
Huh.
I just didn't know. You're a little
Yeah.
taller than me, so you get those first two much higher. So I just I
that-
didn't like think go as high as you can. I was like, I'm gonna go to the fork.
Right.
And I stopped.
To
right at
get
the fork.
to that fork with just the 4 short sticks.
Yeah. You have
is-
to really spread
like
them
you
out.
can do it.
Yeah.
It's rough though. And that bark, what kind of tree is that? Like it's like a beech, some sort of a beech tree or
I
something.
would have to see it during the spring.
It's got like really, really thin,
Yeah.
slick bark.
It does.
And then when it's frozen,
It's
it's like ice. You're trying to hang your sticks on ice.
it's also super soft.
That's the one I fell out of.
I could imagine
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I could imagine that. It's super soft. So in the wind, you are just swinging in the breeze.
Yeah.
So
November 9th was a good day for both of us.
yeah, let's hear about
Well,
your.
actually, show the people your buck.
This is my buck. It's not as big as Luke's buck, but I'm proud of him. He needs to be cleaned up a little bit more. We might need to give him another boil.
Whoever did the boil apparently needed to put him
I
in one
cannot
more time.
complain about the boil because I didn't do the boil. I did peel him and scrape him and whatnot, but he's still got a little bit of junk on him. Just a nice, pretty little 8-point.
Gorgeous
Nothing,
deer.
nothing crazy, but for my first buck, I'm
It's an
proud of
awesome
him.
deer.
Happy-
you should absolutely be proud of him.
Happy of him.
I think
So
the way his antlers come, like, I think they would have crossed.
I think he would have crossed up too. I think he would have gone
He just
taller.
comes in.
I think he would have gone taller, got more mass, and crossed together. So cool little deer.
Such a cool deer.
Yep. But yeah, passed a ton of deer. I've had, when I've been hunting for does, probably the first 3 or 4 times where I was just trying to put meat in the freezer, I got busted entirely because I was filming,
Right.
where I wasted all of my extra movement on camera stuff. And if
Right.
I had just shot the deer, I would have been totally fine.
Yeah. No, you didn't
So-
fail in only killing one deer. It's just, and really one deer's probably close to sufficient as far as meat for you.
Not for a year.
No, we'll fix that.
You don't understand. I'm mostly carnivore.
Yeah.
I've got So I got like 55-ish pounds.
Oh yeah, you're gonna need more than that.
I'm probably down to 40
Okay.
in a month or whatever it
Yeah.
is. I'm probably down to 40. Maybe a little less.
Well, you'll get more.
I got a little bit from
Yeah,
my
we'll kill,
last year.
we'll kill a
too.
couple more with the bows.
Yeah,
So November 9th was real good.
real good.
Yours was killed at what? Like,
About 3:30.
was it that late?
Yeah. And maybe it was 2:45.
Okay.
It was pushing 3 though,
Gotcha.
every bit of.
I actually killed mine the same day before you.
Same day, a little bit earlier.
I was out in spot you guys have all seen. You've seen the video from
The crazy rut day and your video.
the day I killed him. So you've seen the spot. You know the spot.
Little black walnut on an old racetrack.
Yep. And we'll link both of our buck hunts to this.
Mine's already been linked. Here it is again. There's his.
But it was a good day. I mean, windy, cold.
Yep.
Pretty early, I saw a pretty big buck come from right to left across in front of me on the neighbor's property. I don't know if it was the same deer. I really don't think it was.
So out across the same river.
Out across the same river,
Yep.
which we're just got to get permission on the other side.
It's a feeding frenzy. over there.
And saw a bunch of does. I think I saw a little buck. And
The
then
deer were moving.
They were
that
definitely
day.
moving.
I saw deer all day long
Yeah.
that day.
three does being pushed around by a little, it's like a spike buck,
Okay.
but nothing of consequence. He snuck up on me. And we found where he came up out of the river.
100%.
And I'm in a black walnut with split trunks. And if I'm just sitting back in my saddle, this trunk blocked the whole path that he came up out of the river from. So he came up out of the river bottom, and I didn't see him until he crossed the
Through the
trunks
V.
through the V here.
Yeah.
And then it was a scramble
Yeah.
to
So
still stay on him.
if I may, like where he crossed, we weren't expecting deer at all to come up there. There's this tiny little carved gulch
It's like
that
it's
is
like a beaver slough.
that
almost.
is like that steep. It's
Right.
like just under 90 degrees. It's
And-
probably 82, 83 degree slope or grade rather, and at like 150 yards. So like you're not gonna see him unless you're looking right there
until he's up.
until he's up.
And my fault. Like I should have walked that and known, okay, this is a actual deer spot.
sure.
But you couldn't see it from where I was standing or from where I was sitting that there was even a possibility
No,
that deer
not
came
at
up
all.
there.
Not at all.
So
So you scrambled.
I scrambled, and that's
How far was he when you saw him?
Probably 90 yards.
Okay.
And then he probably made it another 15, 20 yards before I shot him.
Like
So he's
75
But he's
ish.
kind of angling. So yeah, probably 70-yard shot
Okay. Yep. Muzzle loader.
with the muzzleloader.
Okay.
Mine was muzzleloader
I was hunting bow during muzzleloader season
because of the property.
in town. Yeah.
Yeah. Shot was good. Little bit higher than I wanted. A little bit further back, but double lung.
Based on walking
of
out
heart.
there, he went nowhere.
No, he went 40 yards
Yeah.
and crashed.
Yeah.
And I believed I heard him crash, but I didn't see him crash, and that's
Yeah.
always
He
the stressful
essentially made
thing.
it to the edge of the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I gave him about an hour by the time I got down. I mean, he was dead right away.
I didn't
but-
give my guy any time.
I think I said it was an hour, but it was probably like 40 minutes and I was out there.
Yeah, probably. I think I essentially called you, hung out for a little bit in the tree, like 10 minutes after I called you. And then
Well,
I
you
was
could
down.
see he went down.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw him fall.
So this is mine.
Stud.
Yeah.
Stud of a deer.
Good 8-pointer.
He's beautiful. So symmetrical.
Cool thing about him is total stranger. We got a bunch of cameras out there, but he wasn't on any of the cameras. We've pulled most of them now, and he's never been on any of them. So pretty cool to have a
Yeah.
complete stranger deer come in.
Yep.
And he was one that, like, as soon as I saw him, it was like not a question. It was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot that deer.
When you called me, that's what you said too. I was like, how good is he? And you're like, it was no doubter.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so whatever it is, it's a stud.
I'll say, like, even as big as his antlers are, his body was significantly bigger than his ant. Like he was putting his protein into his body, not his
Yes,
antlers. Like
I-
that was the
I
biggest
agree.
bodied deer I'd ever
I
killed.
agree. Yeah.
I think it was like closer to 100 pounds of meat from him. Like it was
a lot.
a huge deer.
I didn't realize how much bigger he was until we got them hung up.
Right.
And we've got a photo that I'll link right here. And you can just see, like, mine's not a small deer.
No.
His is significantly
Yeah,
bigger
he was a
than mine.
big deer.
Significantly bigger.
So I saw like big rack, but I saw like big hanging sagging belly.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
mature buck.
Yeah.
And that was really one
Yeah.
of my goals is like I like to shoot deer with big racks, but I'm trying to hunt and kill mature bucks.
Yep.
And that was the only deer I saw that I could have shot this year that I wanted to shoot.
Yeah.
Like there was some other deer on the neighbor's property that I could see that I was
Yeah.
like, that might get shot if it was over here.
That 7-pointer from our last video, the Crazy Rut Day, that's going to be, if he makes it through the year, Lord willing, that's going to be a tank. Because he was already big.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. That was November 15th.
Yep.
Those deer had like 4 or 5 more days before they were going to go pretty much nocturnal.
Yep.
Even if half of those bucks got killed.
Yep.
We got a bunch of great bucks next year.
We saw 15 different bucks or 13 different bucks or whatever it
such a
was
crazy
that day.
I think that was one of the highlights of my
Same.
hunting
'Cause-
season was that day.
Agreed. At one point, so in making that video, I thought it was interesting to watch like our different reactions to it.
Or same reaction where like initially we're like really trying to get the deer to come across, and we never stopped trying to get the deer to come across, but we were whispering and like doing more calling, and then as the minutes go by, it's like, all right, there's hot does over there, they're not coming over here unless they're chasing a doe, so it doesn't matter what we do,
Just enjoy it.
so we were just laughing and cracking jokes and just like enjoying the madness
Yeah.
of
And I
that
felt
day.
like there was really almost nothing we could have been screaming in that tree.
I
I
full-
don't think the deer on the other side would have cared.
I fully agree. So
They were so comfortable over there.
For sure, the first time you grunted at them right there in the morning, they definitely heard you.
So
They picked their heads up and looked and did not care.
that first, like the first scene or the first minute of that
Yeah.
episode, you see me rattling, and
Yes.
I'm like
You were-
aggressively rattling.
I had to turn the volume down. You were
Yeah.
slamming on them.
Well,
Because
I had already seen a buck out there.
Okay.
Like in the morning, one of the first, or was it while you were rattling that?
I think
saw
it was right after I was rattling. You're
Because
like, oh, buck,
I don't
buck.
I don't think I got it on camera because I saw it. I was binoculars up while you were rattling. I was like, oh, buck, buck. And then we got to the doe right
Yeah.
behind us.
I think funniest quote there was like, I don't care about the does behind us.
Yeah, the doe was right behind us, and I was filming the doe, looking at the doe. It's skyline, it's all pretty. And then Luke goes, buck, buck. So then we've got like 10 minutes of buck footage, and in the middle of it, I'm like, I just got blown at. And Luke goes, I don't care about the doe. So it was pretty funny.
Maybe I should have cared about the doe because she might have had a buck behind her.
I don't know. What you haven't seen yet is on the next episode of that when we go on our still hunt.
Well, they probably have seen it by now.
Probably.
Yeah.
So they've seen it, but when I don't know if you know this.
When you hung up your GoPro
Yeah.
to film like us walking up the hill,
Right.
doe walks right behind us.
No way.
Right behind us. We like crest the hill, and then like 5 minutes later, she comes out from where the bobcat was working, and just sort of like slowly walks across the field, right along the bottom
that
of the
footage?
field. Yep.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
Like probably 100 yards, 75 yards from our tree that we were in.
Oh, hopefully that'll be in the episode.
It will be in the episode. It's pretty
Nice.
funny. I had to speed it up for her
So-
walk across because she took her sweet time. Yep.
That
And it may have been the doe that we bumped that ran out in
Sure,
front of us.
it
It
could
may
have
have looped around.
looped
us.
around.
But I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. That was really cool. The buck that we saw on the ground too. So
That day was definitely my number 2 day of hunting
Yeah.
this year. Was that
Becca
day.
named that buck Frank the Tank because
Yes.
that deer's body.
Big.
Well, and he's featured in a different day too.
Really? Is he like on footage?
Maybe you haven't put him in.
I don't
I've got
know.
like a whole long series of footage of him walking in. I'll have to find it. But his body does not match his antlers. He's
Yeah.
got a huge
Yeah, he's a stud.
body,
Yep.
and he's like a little.
That
big
was
4
a
or 5
crazy
pointer.
one. So that video, we're working with the equipment that we got right now. So there's a lot of moving parts and it's not optimal yet. But
I was filming with my GoPro, filming with my phone, filming with Luke's camera. So I got a lot of moving parts. And at one point, we did a big loop around to get closer and more uphill of the deer that we had seen across the river. So we sit down. Luke's a little bit in front of me. I rattle for a little bit. Luke grunts right after that.
a little bit. And then we sit still for like 5-10 minutes. And then we're like, all right, let's get up and move a little bit.
Off the couch.
And move a little bit and do the same thing. So we get up, we go maybe 20 yards down the hill closer to the river. And we're standing there and we're sort of just getting the lay of the land. It's like half of a scouting mission as well, just to see what's over there at that time of year.
Yeah, well, I think the other thing too is we'd seen so much buck activity right across the river from there,
Yeah.
where they are so aggressive. Like we were seeing really aggressive buck
Yes.
behavior that we're thinking, let's just go try and get something to storm in on us.
Right. So that's what we're doing. We're making a lot of noise. We're clumping through the woods. We're rattling. We're grunting.
Trying to sound like bucks coming through
Yes.
the woods.
We get down to the bottom, closer to the river. We're looking out at cedars where all the deer had been. Now we're the closest we've been to where the deer were. We're like 50 yards, 60 yards,
Right.
essentially
With-
right across the
Kind of
river.
with the hope of like a buck coming inside the high water mark
Exactly.
and getting shot.
We
from
were
across the
just
river.
talking about that.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about how we got to get permission on that side of the land. And then we're standing there, and then we're both like, you hear that? And we both heard a grunt. We both thought it was in front of us, or at least I did.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was in front of us.
I don't know what
And I
the
think I said,
acoustics was
"Get
doing.
down, get down, get down."
He goes, get down, get down, get down. So we both crouch down, and then he's like, behind us. And I look up, and Frank the Tank standing there, skylined, maybe 15 yards. You said 20 feet. I don't think he was that close. But like, I could have hit him with a rock. I could have hit him with an acorn. I could have hit him with a marshmallow. And he was just standing there, head bobbing at us, looking at us.
I think if we had the bow, I probably would have shot him.
You asked me in the video if I wanted to shoot him, and I was like, no, you can if you want. It's not a good shot, though, because he was so skylined.
Yeah, I think
And,
with the
like-
bow, I would have shot him.
You could have, real easy.
But I think just because of like,
Because there's like roads and houses all back behind where
yeah,
he
it wasn't a
lives.
safe shot at that moment with
No.
the muzzleloader. And
No.
But I'm saying like, even if it was a safe shot, I wouldn't have shot him with the muzzleloader.
Right.
But I think like shooting a buck on the ground on that kind of hunt with a bow,
Pretty epic.
it would have been pretty epic.
Pretty
and I
epic.
probably would have like lowered my standards in
I would-
deer for a real high standard like hunt. You know what I mean?
It was really cool. So
Yeah.
like we didn't kill a deer in that video either, but like we were super successful because we did exactly what we were trying to do.
Other thing is we were kind of operating on a little bit of a time.
Yes, we
schedule.
had like an hour and 20 minutes or
And-
something.
I think if we'd gone slower and taken our time more, because after we dealt with him,
Yep.
and we saw him go across the field.
Yep.
We come out to the edge of the field that we'd been hunting over,
On the opposite side,
and we spooked a buck across the river.
a nice one.
Yeah, that had we been like going slower and taking our time and
wouldn't
really
have.
glassing,
Wouldn't have spooked him.
we should have seen that deer. Like that, I feel like that's kind of on
We-
me. Like we should
we
have
were-
seen that deer.
We had to have walked within 30 yards.
I
of him.
think he was on our side of the river, but down in the riverbed.
Fully agreed.
Yeah.
Fully agreed.
I don't know if he pushed a doe up against the river bottom
I don't
there.
know.
I never saw a doe blow out,
Never.
but
So at one point,
I think that was the
we
big
were
7-pointer.
up closer to where we had the experience with Frank the Tank, and I heard something down the river below us, and you said it was a squirrel. I don't know if you saw a squirrel there. Did you?
I don't remember.
Because you had seen something down to the left, and I was like, "There's something over here." And
Right.
I walked back to you, and you're like, "No, it's just a squirrel. Go that way."
Okay.
I don't know if maybe that was him or
Mm.
what, but that's something we should definitely do again because like that would be cool.
Yeah. So that's
Like-
super effective. I'm wondering if there's a better spot that maybe on some public or something where we can work a river bottom that way.
We
I
should
got
look
an
into
idea
that.
on where.
Okay.
The problem with it though is it's like, yeah, it's high reward potential, but it's also like high risk of not seeing anything.
For sure.
So,
And then they never need to know about it.
well, no, but like, so we might burn a whole premium rut day
Right, for sure.
doing that.
We're
and
not gonna do that on
might
November
be
9th.
worth it. Well, that's when you got to do it to be successful. It's like you got to be on one of those
True,
days.
but you also got to go to your prime tree stand where you know there's deer around.
Yeah, or prime spots. Like you really just get lucky. Like
Yeah.
if you see a day like that in the next 4 or 5 years, like you've been really lucky.
I've never seen anything like it.
No.
Like we saw dozens and dozens of deer and over a dozen different bucks, all that good or better, and then a couple of little
A couple
forks.
in this class.
100% couple.
I don't know if there was anything that would have been bigger than him.
So the first two that we saw, the big 7 and then the big 8, were
Bigger.
right in there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're necessarily bigger, but right in there.
Yeah.
The 7 had probably more mass,
And then there was a
but it
wide
was a little
one.
narrower.
It was a really wide one too.
There was one that I never got good footage of that you were talking about, like the second half of that day when we were in the tree, where you were talking about up on the wood line.
Okay.
I didn't have
that was the biggest
I
buck.
didn't have an angle on him. I never saw him. I don't think I got any footage of him.
Okay.
Just because of where I was in the tree versus where you were.
Yeah,
in the
that
tree, I
was
couldn't see him.
that was the biggest buck, but I never got a real clear view of
Yeah.
him either. Like I couldn't tell you he was a 10 or a 12 or what.
But it
he
was like there were several
biggest buck.
times on that day where I had 5 bucks in camera,
It's crazy.
which is just nuts.
Crazy.
Just nuts.
So
There was another day this year. I was hunting on different piece of land, and it was one of the days where I was just trying to go shoot does, and I got busted in the morning at like 8 a.m. Wasted all of my movement on camera movements, and they saw me. There were like 5 does, 80 yards, easy shot with a rifle. And then like 3 o'clock comes along. I'm like, shoot, did I bring my headlamp? Do I need to get down early? And because I don't know the property super well, so I'm like, I don't really want to walk out fully in the dark. So I unzip my backpack. I haven't seen anything for 8 hours since I saw those deer. Unzip my backpack, immediately busted. I'm like, all right, cool. I get down, I go pull a camera, trail cam. I start walking out. There's still a little bit of daylight out, but like nothing's coming back at this point in time. I'm toast. Get to where I parked, and I see what I initially thought was a flock of birds. And it was like, I kid you not, like 40 to 60 deer running across the field. They looked like a flock of seagulls of just white tails, just full trot across the field out in front of me.
it was post rut.
It was insanity. I've never seen so many deer in one spot.
Wild.
And I just watched them go, and then like 10 of them are just hanging out in the field on the adjacent property. And then I hear bang. I'm like, dang it. I just wanted one. So that was a pretty cool moment too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. See that many deer.
Never seen anything like it.
So my hunting season got pretty significantly interrupted around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we're in Studio B. We're not at the house.
Potentially even Studio C.
Studio C, yeah.
Yeah.
We like to do it in my living room
Yep.
or on my deck.
What I really still want is to do it by the campfire.
Right. That's
Yeah.
the goal.
Yeah.
We'll do some of that for sure. But we have major issues at our house as far as we had a broken pipe, and
Yep.
then we got some mold issues that are getting fixed and sorted out.
Yep.
So our entire kitchen and dining room is pushed into our living room right
Yep.
now.
Yeah, that took
And-
a lot of your end of your hunting season.
Oh yeah, because I found it on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. It was a fun text
And then it was like,
to get. I was like, oh, no,
yeah, deer season's pretty much done.
bad day.
I think I hunted twice after that.
I think you're right, and I think you went out and shot deer both times, or maybe just once.
Maybe I went out 3 times, but I killed 2 does one day when we were both out together. Appreciate your help with them.
Happy.
The other thing that I've gotten into a little bit this year is making tanning these deer skins.
Tanned mine. Appreciate that.
Yep. So I've done 4 deer skins this year
Yep.
to varying degrees of success. I think this one's probably the best one I've done
It looks
so far.
real nice. Still needs to be like sort of worked a little bit. But
Yeah.
real nice.
I've got one that's really soft and really supple, but whatever oil I used, it was like expired old neat's foot oil. And I think
Okay.
it went rancid.
Okay.
So I am really working to get the smell out of it,
Nice.
get it
Yep.
to smell good.
Good.
Uh,
Lesson learned on that.
and then my big buck one, he's great. That one's great, but it's
falling off.
stiff as a board.
Really?
I've sanded it and oiled it and sanded it, and it's so stiff.
Mine's sort of just rolled up in like a neat little ball in the corner. It looks pretty nice like that, but I haven't worked mine enough.
I think this one is going to be the best. I think I kind of have it a little bit dialed.
Yeah.
I thought this one had some slipping hair at first,
Doesn't
but
look
I
like
think
it.
it was because it hadn't fully tanned yet. I think I was pulling on hair a little too soon. So this is for my youngest daughter. She'll sleep under this one, and
They've all
she's
got one now,
fired
right?
up. They've all got one.
All the ladies in your house have a
All my
deer.
daughters and my wife have
Nice.
one. But honestly, this one's probably the closest to being ready to sleep under.
Yeah.
And
Pretty cool.
my oldest daughter's got one from a couple years ago
Yeah.
that somebody else did for us, and
Yep.
she sleeps under that every night.
Amazing.
So-
Amazing. I was talking to a friend yesterday about tanning. His wife has tan stuff, and like once you see the process of tanning, it really makes you like stop and think about like the old euphemism of like I'm gonna tan your hide to like a kid. Like that's aggressive. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna skin you alive. I'm gonna scrape your flesh off and then boil you. And then you don't boil it.
No, but salt
Treat you with salt and
Yeah.
and
chemicals. And then
chemicals.
stretch
That's
you
an
and-
aggressive line to say to
Yeah.
disobedient son or whatever. I'm gonna tan your hide.
Maybe it just means like you're gonna get a little darker because of the bruising.
I don't know. Don't tan your kids.
Either way, don't tan your kids.
Yeah.
No.
Um,
Hachi, do you want to be a dog blanket someday?
Oh, that is creepy. Then you had your deep freeze go out.
Then we had the deep freezer go out, and that was like an emergency.
Yeah, that's
So
like
really, like our
you've had it a couple of days.
fall into winter has been
Yeah.
kind of.
You-
So right now, our house is unlivable. We're
Yep.
staying at mom and dad's. So
Yep.
thanks to
Yep.
mom and dad for letting us stay here.
Grateful
But
for that.
it's definitely
Life comes
life.
at you fast.
Yeah.
Comes at you
So,
fast.
somebody-
Any other good stories from hunting season that we should talk about that I haven't thought about?
No, I got some like minor bummers. Like I really wanted to get back out there.
Yep.
And that never happened. Between her busy soccer season and
been a lot
which
going
went later than expected.
Yep.
And then just like the time.
Come
So-
on like a late season bow hunt with us.
Yeah.
I
And
know
then
she wouldn't be able to be the hunter, but
well, we can throw behind a crossbow.
true.
I definitely wanted to kill more deer. The deep freezer going out, like I got no space for another deer right now. Otherwise, I probably would have gone out yesterday or today.
Really? Yeah.
But I wanted to take more deer off of the big farm.
Yeah.
I think I really am feeling pretty confident that like that 8 to 10 doe a year is like the number that needs to come off that property.
Really. They're a
I mean,
lot.
You see a lot of deer out there, which is a
lot.
good thing, but like we got CWD now, not on the farm. We've tested all our deer, nothing's come back positive, but it just seems like it's a lot healthier. And the more does you take off, the more resources you have to grow bigger bucks.
It's true. I've heard like back and forth arguments on this, and people talk about like, yeah, but then you're not going to hold as many bucks because there's more competition during the rut, and they're going to leave, or they're going to fight harder, and they're going to burn out quicker. And so there's going to be a shorter rut because once they're all bred, they're just going to leave.
Well, we'll see. So
so it's like there's countering arguments for that.
So last year I think I shot 8
Okay.
or 10 deer off that property,
Okay.
all does.
Yep.
I don't remember exact. I've used a couple of my bonus tags, I think.
Sure.
This year I've killed 2 does. So we'll see what next year looks like.
It would be different,
Yeah, we'll see.
and that's it. There's only been 2 does that have come off that.
That's
property.
it. Now, what we did notice is I think I found 3 dead deer out there.
I saw one of them for
Yeah.
sure, but no bucks.
No bucks. But
is good.
I think 3, like something happened to these does. So whether they're getting shot on the other side of the river and jump in the river
There's-
or
There was
coyotes.
outside of the rut day. I was sitting in that one black walnut down near the river away from where we were, and there's like it almost looks like a food plot on the other side with like 10, 15 does in there.
Yeah.
Multiple times I had that happen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of coyotes. There's a lot of bear out there, and there's a lot of other ways that deer
yeah,
die. So
and there's definitely hunters
there's a lot of hunting
all
around
around
us.
that property.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing for next year is I want to kind of make it more of a secure spot for them to feel like they want to be on our side of the river instead of on
How
neighbors.
would you go about that?
Well, you can talk about some food plots.
There's some
think-
spots that you could put a food
I
plot.
think keeping the paths open like we have is going to be a big thing. We only had them open for half this year.
Yep.
I think that's a big thing. We saw a huge change in deer movement when we opened those paths because it's so preclusive
Yes,
or preclusive.
that works.
I would love to have a fire there to burn. I don't know if it's,
I don't think that you're going to be able to
I don't
sell
think it's
that
gonna
to the
happen.
landowner.
but it needs to burn. Like,
I was thinking that in the tree
yeah,
the other
it's
day.
just like so many thorns and brushes.
Yep.
Brush. It needs to come back to like native wildflowers and native
Yeah.
grasses. And stuff.
Time out. Andrew here again. Got to pause it one last time before the end of the podcast. If you've made it this far, really appreciate you watching. Seems like you're liking what you're watching if you've made it this far. While it's paused, why don't you go ahead and give us a sub, give us a like, and then enjoy the rest of the podcast. Thank you again. Appreciate it. Bye-bye now.
So,
They need to get back to natural wildflowers and
right.
prairie land and
Yeah.
pasture.
So regular deer season's done.
Yep.
Here in Virginia, we have extended seasons on both ends of the season.
Yes.
So you can hunt like almost 8 months out of the year.
It's a lot.
It's crazy.
That's
7 months. You can hunt
something.
September into
Rifle with does,
rifle
right?
for does in September.
Which
I think
is
it's September 6th
crazy.
until the opening of archery. You can hunt rifle with a doe
Yep.
or doe with a rifle.
Yep.
And then you get your archery until the first Saturday in November. 2 more Saturdays of
Muzzleloader.
muzzleloader, and then rifle season ends the first Saturday in January, but it continues as antlerless until March 30th
With rifle?
with a rifle. So
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought I was
No.
cooked and couldn't go shoot any more does.
you can, but I would prefer for the places that we,
The regular places
yeah.
to be done.
and I would like say absolutely not on the big farm.
Yeah.
Like we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Uh,
You don't want to
we don't want the mistaken identity of shooting
accidentally.
a
200-pound doe that's not a doe.
yeah with the rifle at 200 yards. Like you could make that mistake,
Absolutely.
especially if you're like out there at 5:30 and it's almost dark.
Yes.
Like you could make that mistake, and we
Yes.
don't want to chance that
I agree.
because you could shoot him.
I would cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As an antlerless, and that would be rough.
That'd be a bad day.
So we're gonna only do late season with the bow
Yep.
on the small properties. I think.
Yep.
Where we're like within 25 yards, 30 yards, we can make clear identifications on what we're shooting.
Yep.
And we're gonna try some cool stuff. I
Yeah.
think we're gonna set up a ground blind behind a house. Yeah, why not?
Like an abandoned
against
house.
a house.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going to bring like a skillet and make some waffles.
we,
pancakes.
we could brush in right back there too, or build a fake brick wall.
That'd be cool. Or just put an easy up and a tarp.
Who knows? I mean,
Like, again, they're town deer. They're oblivious.
I don't think they're as oblivious as you think.
I don't know. Maybe it's just rut and I've never experienced the rut before. But he was dumb.
Well, they're all dumb that time of year. Like they
He-
make bad decisions.
He was just ready to fight and
Make
didn't
bad
care what I was
decisions.
doing.
And like I said, he wasn't used to good noise.
Yeah.
Like nobody had ever tried to trick him before.
He got fooled.
So
Yeah, he got
pretty
fooled.
cool.
Yeah.
So we're hopefully gonna get a little bit more late
Yep,
season deer
absolutely.
hunting footage.
I want to do more cooking content.
Yep, more cooking content.
Get a little bantering going. Some good buck tartare type videos.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
I watched a buck tartare video where me, Luke, and our friend Dan cook some buck tartare. Or don't cook some buck tartare.
Yeah, prepare some
Yes.
tartare.
Then we got turkey season.
Turkey season. We got
Excited.
some plans for that.
I'm
Hopefully,
excited
we're
for
gonna
turkey
get somebody to help us.
Because
I've had a couple people offer, and I've said this before. Like, I'm fairly good and competent at one specific area of hunting and outdoors. Like I can pretty routinely go out and kill something like that.
right.
in Virginia.
Yes.
But that's a pretty narrow band,
Yes.
and I want to expand. And one thing that I've tried for several years is turkey hunting, and I've had no success. I've had some gobblers come in, but never close enough to shoot. I've had like encounters, but never any successes.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, the next big
I've
season coming
only
up.
done it once. Well, I've
One season.
one season of it, and I was in Francis Marion Swamp.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw a bird.
Yeah.
I saw tracks, and
I saw 100 birds last year.
Yeah.
I just didn't see any within range of shooting. So,
I was also in public, so I was just like running into hunters, and
yeah.
I had no idea what I was
You're like,
doing.
can you help me, please,
Yeah,
sir?
I was like, where are the birds? Can you point me to them?
Yeah.
So, looking forward to that too.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We'll try and get one. And I think it'll be a lot better season too, because we can go hunt together
Yes.
and have like one of us calling and one of us
One of us
shooting.
calling, one of us filming, one of us shooting.
Right.
So, what else?
So I think that's it for deer season recap. It
Yeah,
was a
absolutely.
successful
fun.
season.
I've had a blast.
Neither of them on film though.
You know, I was closer. I at least had my camera on.
Yeah. Yeah. I killed a deer on film.
You did?
Actually, I killed 2 on film. You can only see the deer in one. Because that's the second doe I killed last week,
Oh, I
or
didn't
2
know.
weeks ago.
I didn't know you were filming
You
that.
can see me shoot. You can't see her because it's too dark.
Gotcha. Yeah,
So maybe we'll just throw that into a video somewhere. But
maybe.
yeah,
So it's been fun.
been a good season.
Appreciate you teaching me so much. I've learned
Yeah,
a lot. Getting better.
It's more fun to hunt with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So definitely been one of my most fun seasons.
Little by little.
And the other thing, I guess last thing, filming makes deer hunting 10 times harder.
At least twice.
No, it's 10 times harder.
Yeah.
I spooked more deer because of that stupid camera.
Yeah, trust me, I get it.
So
Like if you don't have to move something to keep looking at the deer
yeah,
and you can just sit still, it's kind of a game changer.
even though the only deer that I wanted to kill this year, I killed it.
Job
so-
done. Yep.
I
But-
did spook a lot of deer that I didn't want to kill.
Yeah. But you didn't press the button.
I didn't press the button when it counted.
You would have.
And I
Filmed
squared
him
up.
perfectly.
Everything was perfect.
He was prime right in the
You can
middle.
even see on the footage, I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, that's good.
Yep. Yep.
So
And then you get on him, bang. Nope. Just GoPro footage. Watch it anyways. Worth the watch.
definitely worth watching.
He is twitching.
He's tracking
He's
deer
tracking
right now.
deer.
All right, thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in. Got a bunch more cool stuff coming.
Yeah, tons of stuff. Just because hunting season's done. Not just a hunting channel. We're going to do a lot of fun outside stuff. So, appreciate it.
Tune in and let sleeping dogs lie.
That's right. Thanks for watching.
What do we just both hold our bucks?
Yeah. That'll work.
Is it recording or?
Hey. It's recording. I think it's recording. This guy's dying.